What a great night here at Stage AE on Pittsburgh's North Shore. Gladiators of the Cage rolls on. Another great amateur bout coming up. As you see, presented by the Tilted Kilt Pub and Eatery. It's going to be Dush and Depietro coming up next here at Stage AE. We're in for another exciting one. Let's go to our ring announcer once again, Dan Bogan, inside the cage.
At this time, we need from the red corner, Garrett Dush. Garrett Dush.
The spotlight on Garrett Dush as he makes his way into Stage AE.
I've actually had the opportunity to corner against Garrett Dush. Now, I can tell you right now, this dude is tall. I mean, what is he, 6'6"? 6'6" at 170 pounds. But he trains at a Team Nowhere MMA, which they are more of a jiu-jitsu oriented gym. Look for him to use that long reach advantage in being able to close the distance and get inside for a submission.
We got Stefan Struve, Stefan the skyscraper Struve's little brother coming in here.
You know, Garrett is actually a very tough fighter, though. You know, the guy that I was cornering against, Matt Hester, he ended up winning that fight due to a triangle at the end. But Garrett was pushing that fight the whole round, you know, the whole fight. And he's just a tough fighter all around. And again, Team Nowhere, you know, I'm actually a big fan of those guys out in Ohio. They just do it for the love of the sport. They love it, man.
I believe up-and-comer Beksad Abdurrahmanov, I think I got that right, is coming out of Team Nowhere, I think. Yeah. And he's a real serious prospect.
Absolutely. I fought 3 guys out of, you know, Team Nowhere. I fought, who is it? Mark Wyant, Tracy Wyant, who are the coaches now. And then also fought a guy by the name of Time Bomb. Such a good guy. It was a good fight for me. I got rocked big time in that, but they're a good gym.
From the blue corner, we need Tony Depietro. Tony Depietro, blue corner.
And here comes Tony Depietro into Stage AE, 34 years of age. He's from Pittsburgh.
I'm liking all these guys coming in, you know, in the mid-30s, fighting amateur fights still. It means they love the sport. They're martial artists, they're fighters, and they're coming in to, you know, just put on a show, give everyone some good entertainment, and, you know, test themselves, see where they're at. I love that. And Tony Depietro, just like some of the other guys coming in tonight, just loves to fight.
Here's the comparison. Dush, 6 feet 6 inches tall to Depietro, 6 feet tall, a 6-inch height advantage. They're each 170 pounds. Dush 3-3, and Depietro 7-7. Look at the reach difference. Dush 78 inches, Depietro 72.
That could be a big advantage for Garrett. We'll see how well he uses it. Depietro, though, is, you know, he's no amateur to these, to the cages. He's got 14 fights now.
Yeah, 14 fights, even at 7-7, ton of experience. You know, that's going to come into play. He's not going to really be worried, have the big adrenaline dump. He's going to be nice and relaxed and ready to go, I'm sure. Right. But Garrett obviously is going to want to come out, use his length, keep Depietro at the end of his jab and start working from there.
Let's go to ring announcer Dan Brogan.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next event is in the amateur welterweight division, and it is being determined under advanced amateur rules, which calls for 3 3-minute rounds. First, we have fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 178 pounds, standing 6 feet 6 inches tall with a 78-inch reach, with a record of 3 wins, 3 losses, fighting out of Team Nowhere MMA from Brookville, Pennsylvania, Garrett Dush. And his opponent in the blue corner, he weighed in at 184 pounds. He stands an even 6 feet tall with a 72-inch reach, a record of 7 wins, 7 losses. He fights for Rising Dragon MMA, and he's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Welcome, Tony Depietro!
You ready, sir? Sir? Okay, sir, you ready? Sir, you ready? Come on, let's bang!
All right, the cage is locked. It's Depietro with Dush in the cage right now. And I got to tell you something, guys. Depietro looks like he's an angry man.
Yeah, that's the first thing I've noticed when he got in there. Now, people don't understand right now, these are advanced amateur rules, which means no shin guards. They can ground and pound to the head on the ground. They are not allowed to throw elbows, not allowed to kick to the head, which unfortunately Garrett just ended up doing. Just going to make sure Depietro's okay.
Guys, this could be one of those situations where, given the age and experience difference, here we're going to take a look real quick at the quick at the kick. There we go. Aiming for the chest, but he caught him on the chin.
It happens.
Accidental.
Yeah.
A little bit of an age difference here, too, not just the height and reach. Depietro's 34 and Dush is 26.
That's right, Chris. That's what I was going to say, is that, you know, age and experience in the cage. You can see Depietro is just very calm, relaxed. That could come into play. As I said before, that whole man strength thing, there's just something about life experience that translates into the cage.
Now, what I'm seeing right now from Garrett Dush is that he's keeping his hands out really far. I don't understand. In order, especially in the advanced amateur rules, you're going to want to keep your hands in. But I guess that's just his style now. He wants
really, when he keeps his hands out there, he's allowing Depietro the opportunity to really to see the distance,
right,
and to come underneath. You know, we'll see if he can take advantage of that. But
right,
to come underneath those, if he uses some feints and slips, Depietro got caught there. He looked rocked.
Couple right hands. And I see why he's doing it, you know, because he's trying to find his distance.
Yeah, he's Depietro's cut over the left eye. He definitely caught a couple shots there coming in. Interestingly, Depietro said he wanted to push the pace of the fight. I applaud that for the 35-year-old guy, 34-year-old, to come in saying he's going to push the pace. He's got Garrett Dush up against the cage here. We'll see if he can keep pushing it or if he's going to wear down.
He's working for that takedown, which, you know, it could go any way here because Garrett is very good on the ground. I've seen him move. You know, I know he's working with some great jiu-jitsu guys over at
Garrett's right arm
Nowhere
is in the perfect position here to really pummel under for the underhooks. Now he's going for a guillotine choke.
Now he has an advantage on that. He has an advantage on that because he's so tall. He can really get that. Now he's actually pressing the fight and pushing Depietro up against the fence.
If he reaches over, great body shots.
Yeah.
Those definitely hurt.
It looks like he's cut on top of his head. Depietro looks like he's cut on top of the head.
Nice control here in the, you know, up against the cage. In this pummel, you know, pummeling for control.
And there's our 10 seconds left. He's looking for a takedown. Depietro doesn't get it. There's a nice knee.
Real good knee there at the end.
And
That's
it looks
a pretty
like
good cut there.
Wow.
They're going to bring him over to the docks.
Depietro definitely dealing with some blood in the eye issues. I'm sure that's why he was really just kind of pressing up against Garrett there. Trying to protect that eye, trying to figure out, you know, just how bad it was.
And I've seen some cuts that look absolutely brutal, but once you wipe the blood away, they're not that bad. You know, this could be that situation here.
take a look at the strike that caught him and cut him.
Big uppercut, and then coming back over with a rear hook. Caught him right on that eye.
Let's take a look at some of the body shots that we saw too.
Now I love this. Garrett took advantage of this situation, pushed him up against the fence, and started throwing some nasty body shots. Being that tall, you can generate a lot of force.
We'll see if those body shots start to pay off in the next round here. Again, it's one of those things that doesn't look flashy or glamorous, but boy, do they take their toll.
You could see the cut on his eye too. Look at that.
Not too bad, and it's in a good spot. If you're going to get a cut, you know, around the eye.
Couple nice combinations from Depietro. Again, Garrett's actually still using that, I guess you would call it a rangefinder, keeping his hands out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here between Garrett and Depietro in the second round. They're coming out tentative here to start things off.
One of the other things about the height advantage is, wow, when he swings, when he takes a punch, I mean, it's coming from back around.
Yeah, there's a lot of force behind that punch. Depietro's looking for the takedown here, and he gets it, and it's a big takedown. And immediately did a great job sweeping the legs to the side, so he immediately gets the side control and doesn't have to worry about passing a guard. Now, again, here we are. We're in a situation now where ground and pound to the head is legal. Just no elbows are allowed.
Depietro might have reopened that cut on his eye, too, when he did that.
Depietro passes actually to half guard there.
Now, half guard's like a 50-50 position, okay? So it depends on how the guy is on the bottom. If the guy on the bottom has an underhook on the same side he's got the half guard on, he's got the advantage. But if he doesn't, the guy on top does. Which Depietro right now has the advantage. He's either got to start working the body, working the head, which he's doing right now in order to pass, or he's got to start finding a way to pry those legs apart.
There's a little bit too much. I call it no air, no light. When you're on top, I try to let no air and no light between me and my opponent. It can be difficult in MMA. Everybody's slippery. Depietro, he's allowing a little bit of space there. If he could set his hips down heavier, stay heavier, and start working his way up past that guard, we could see him in full mount here, you know, very soon.
Tony's actually using his head as a weapon too, isn't he?
Absolutely. Keeping that head, good head position is key, especially in jiu-jitsu. A lot of people don't realize that. And if you're striking or if you get them up against the cage, head position is an important part, especially on a takedown. Oh, it looks like
two big shots.
Yeah, Depietro got caught there a little bit. Garrett looks for a guillotine. If he gets him up against the cage, then he's got something.
That's a toll-taking knee to the body that just happened. Garrett landed on Depietro.
Blood is still coming out of the eye, and I think Garrett is actually trying to utilize that. He's been striking that side of the head and probably hopes that maybe he can open that up.
Something we haven't mentioned is that in the stand-up, we're talking about Garrett being a lefty. So he's a southpaw, and he's been getting the better of the stand-up exchanges, and that could play a big factor.
Final seconds.
Depietro a little slow getting up. I don't know if a couple of those combinations of knee took it out of him.
A tough fight we're watching right now.
Absolutely.
This is a grinder for Depietro. Those body shots clearly taking their toll. The cut. This is full-on adversity. This is what MMA is all about, in the sense of, can you deal with this adversity? Can you come back? Can you pull off the win? And it's pretty clear to me, Garrett is up, you know, 2 rounds to nothing, and Depietro is going to have to make a big shot here in the 3rd round. Taking a look back at some of the action here, Depietro coming forward, and he's getting caught. That length really, you know, working its magic there.
Still looks like the cut isn't in a bad situation. It's not above the eye. It's off to the side, so it's not really going to impede the vision of Depietro. So they're going to allow the fight to go. This is the third round of a very, very tough fight.
It doesn't appear to be bothering him either.
No. I mean, you know, having 14 fights, you know, being inside that cage, he has a lot of experience.
Here we go, round 3.
Yeah, this is the third round of what's, you know, what I would call a grinder. These guys have been grinding it out the first 2 rounds. Depietro has got to pull a rabbit out of the hat.
And Garrett's actually been utilizing a nice left inside kick. He's using that to set up a lot of his hands, his combinations with his hands. But Depietro, again, finding a way to get him against the cage, which is exactly what you want to do against a person who's 6'6", and event, you know, he gets him down.
Yeah, great takedown there. He really, really worked for that. And I'm going to correct myself and say in the second round, Depietro had a big takedown, and he was in the top position for a while there. You know, that second round could have gone in. This really could go either way. Now Depietro got the takedown, and he's on top again.
He's postured up. He's probably going to look to strike.
So, you know, it really could be anybody's fight right now. Depietro in the better position, but I'll tell you what, Adam, you probably know this. I know you know this. Dealing with tall guys on their back is tough.
It is. You got a lot of legs and arms to get through. You know, Depietro's doing a good job of you know, minimizing that threat. He's keeping him up against the cage, which is exactly what you want to do.
His guard is so open. Garrett's guard's so open. I'm surprised Depietro has not pulled his right leg up through the middle.
Right. Might be a little bit of a cardio issue that's going on with Depietro. He's probably in there taking a couple deep breaths and then probably looking to posture up the strike.
If he reaches back with his right hand, pushes on Garrett's knee, now he's opened it up wide.
Yeah.
He really could come through and
step out of there.
But I think you might be right. I think he's digging deep to find a little bit left in the tank to land some punches here, but now he's being threatened. Here's where that tall, wiry guy on his back is tough to deal with.
Depietro trying to use that left arm and that elbow too.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Good hammer fist.
The pass is there. If Depietro just takes his right leg and lifts it right over, he could pass and you know, definitely win this round on the judges' scorecards.
I think it's a combination of him wanting to finish the fight on top. Whether or not he finishes or not, I think in his mind he believes that the second round was his due to that takedown.
If I'm Depietro's corner, I'm yelling at him though, just take an extra second. Take an extra second. Don't just flail punches and throw wildly, but
make them count.
Make them count. Take that extra second.
Oh, there's a big hand.
Very nice right hand. That wobbled Garrett, even on his head was wobbling there.
Close to the end of the third round now.
He's got a few seconds left. Does he have a couple more punches? He did. He had a couple.
Wow.
Oh, he definitely won that round.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
Again, a good show of sportsmanship between these two battlers.
That was a grinder fight. I think Garrett got hurt with 1 or 2 of those punches there at the very end.
Yeah, the decider round is the second round. So who gets that round? If Garrett wins that, you know, obviously he wins.
Here they go up against the cage.
Yeah, round 1, definitely Garrett. Round 3, Depietro. We'll see if round 2, you know, that's really probably the deciding factor.
He did a great job keeping him up and pressed against the cage. That really cuts down off of a lot of hip movement that Garrett could do on there as far as being on the bottom.
There's an old saying that the Gracies have in the jiu-jitsu world, position before submission.
Right.
And it really holds true even when you're ground and pound. Hold that, get that position first, get yourself in position, secure your position, then land strong, hard, meaningful punches.
Right.
There's a look at Tony Depietro with his ring men.
Of course, it's all easier said than done when you're outside the cage and you don't know what the 34-year-old body is feeling or how some of those punches landed. You know, it's easy to say that.
But in all fairness, you two guys have been in there, so you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Garrett is still He's still wiry, man. He's jumping around, having a good time. He likes doing this stuff.
Adam Milstead has yet to spar me, so, you know.
maybe soon, man.
Uh-oh, I think it's on now.
I hope you've been training, man. Drinking your egg yolks and...
Let's go up into the ring with Dan Bogan once again. Dan.
Ladies and gentlemen, going to the judges' scorecard, all three judges scored it differently but unanimously. 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28. For your winner, fighting out of the blue corner, Tony Depietro.
How about it? Tony Depietro picks up the win on the judges' decision. Richie Walsh is in the ring with Tony Depietro.
All right, thanks, Chris. Let's give it up for Tony. At one of the best fights of the night. At what point do you think it turned and swung your way?
After I got cut, I realized I wasn't letting my hands go. I wasn't feeling right. He's a long guy. I was having trouble breaking the distance. My kicks weren't landing, so you got to change it. I said, okay, let's go for the takedown. I have a strong ground game, strong top control, so I had to go to it.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about was that height and reach difference between you. How tough was that to combat?
You know, I didn't think it would be, because I fought guys 6'4", 6'5". Today just wasn't my night. It wasn't feeling right. I was out, like, especially after I got cut, I was a little tentative. Yeah, he was a good fighter though.
Hey, well, I'm sorry to cut you off there, but a win's a win, and you proved that this just isn't a young man's sport either.
Well, thank you, because yes, I'm 34. Anyone who wants to know, yeah, it's grueling. The training's tough. Yeah, and these guys keep getting younger, faster, stronger. So I got to try to keep up.
Well, before I let you go, you want to thank anyone?
Yes, sir. I want to thank Gladiators of the Cage for bringing me in. This is my first fight in Pennsylvania. This organization is great. I really enjoyed it. I want to thank my sponsor, Intimidation Fight Clothing. I want to thank my fight team, Rising Dragon, everybody who got me ready for this fight. My strength and conditioning coach, Cal Crawwell. Steve from Rio Pro, working on my jiu-jitsu, and my sisters who came, well, only 2 people who came for me tonight. They never miss a fight. I appreciate the support, and everybody here. Thanks for coming out and showing love to the fighters.
All right, give it up for Tony Depietro. Congratulations, improves to 8-7. Back to you, Chris.
All right, Richard, thank you much. We have a lot more action coming up. More Gladiators of the Cage to follow next, right here.